for the lowest prices in the Carolinas.
And welcome back, everyone. Tom Sorrells inside the TV15 Weather Center for this look at Hurricane Hugo. It promises to be a stormy night ahead. We'll begin tonight by giving you a look at the satellite shot. This is the way things look from Hugo's perspective. If you were flying above it out across the open water, still about 180 miles to the south of Florence and Myrtle Beach in the viewing area. It is churning away with wind speeds now up to 135 miles an hour, moving to the northwest again at better than 20 miles an hour. Should make landfall in Myrtle Beach around midnight or 1 a.m. It still has 180 miles to cover, and it's doing that at a rate again of about 22 miles an hour. As far as hurricanes go, this is no small boy. Hurricane Hugo is now a Category 4 hurricane. That means it has increased in strength up to 135 miles an hour. Let's move on in the sequence now and give you an idea of what is going on as far as radar is concerned. You can see now the leading edge of the bands of precipitation of Hurricane Hugo. They're showing up as bright red, still mainly in the offshore waters or down to the south around the Georgia state line. Let's go to local weather radar for just a moment to give you an idea of what's happening on our own radar system. As far as precipitation that we can pick up at this hour, it all looks like level 1 precipitation. It is very widespread, but bear in mind that what you're having now is just the leading edge of what promises to be a rough, rock and rolling night for everyone all the way from Columbia to Myrtle Beach. Let's go on back to the sequence now and give you an idea of what lies ahead for us in the coming 12 to 24 hours. We should receive landfall from Hurricane Hugo sometime again between midnight and 1 a.m. Could come in a little later, could come in around 2 a.m., but nevertheless, as we heard from Dr. Sheets earlier from the Hurricane Center, if it arrives at midnight, 1 or 2, it really will not make a difference in the amount of damage because it will be so very close to high tide, which again occurs at 1:46. Future track will take it out of our area sometime during the AM hours Friday, or at least by Friday afternoon. Let's go on now in the sequence, if we could, and talk about what lies ahead for us as far as the forecast for tonight. Let's check it out if we can. Is it there? Inland tonight, cloudy, windy, rain chances 100%. Don't forget, even with an overnight low of 67, we're looking at a very good chance of tornadic activity as this hurricane dies. Tornado watch in effect for all of the inland and coastal areas. On the beaches tonight, the hurricane should strike near midnight. Rain chances are excellent, of course. The overnight low 73. For tomorrow, it should be a cloudy, windy, wet, and wild morning. 80 for the high, diminishing with the winds in the afternoon. On the beaches tomorrow, the same goes. Cloudy, windy, wet, 82 for the high, with wind speeds dying down as the day wears on. Coastal marine forecast has the winds tonight, of course, 125 to 135 miles an hour. Seas tonight and early tomorrow about 12 feet to 18 feet above normal. And then the extended forecast calls for the hurricane to be out of the area by the middle to the end of the weekend. Partly cloudy conditions and a little normalcy should return sometime late Saturday.
All right, sir. I thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom.
Hartsville police are looking for clues to an early morning homicide. Police received an anonymous call about 3:30 this morning telling them of a shooting at South 6th Street. Now, when police arrived, they found the body of 34-year-old Gary Wilson Jr. He was lying face down on the ground. Police say Wilson had been shot at least once in the chest. His body was then sent to Newberry for an autopsy. Anyone with information on that shooting should call Crime Stoppers at 332-8980.
Well, coming up in sports, Todd has Thursday night football news.
Plus the latest on that USC Georgia Tech game. Sports is next.
When you see news happen, call the Wpde TV newsroom, 1-800-868-NEWS. Toll free from anywhere in North or South Carolina.
Count on finding the low price on the brands you trust at Walmart. Like Palmolive dish liquid with 10 free ounces for only $1.57 each. And family-size Colgate toothpaste in a variety of flavors for $1.78 each. Just a few examples of the great savings waiting for you every day of the week at Walmart. Always the low price on the brands you trust. Always.
It's a buyer's market at Bruce Krantz.
Mom at Claire's Book Club, 497 on Cosby.
And here's Todd with sports.
The hurricane, obviously the big problem tonight. The threat of Hurricane Hugo is forcing many high schools to postpone Friday night football this week. As far as tonight goes, the South Lawrence Bruins and Socastee Braves game at Memorial Stadium in Florence has been postponed. Also, St. John's against Hartsville at Marlborough County has also been postponed until Monday now. Tomorrow at 6, we'll brief you on the Friday night high school football schedule. That will be made up, of course, tomorrow at 6, and we'll have more then. In Death Valley, Clemson officials, of course, don't seem to be too worried about the hurricane, surprisingly enough. Saturday's game with Maryland is still on for high noon. One concern, though, traffic. State troopers will be on the Grand Strand directing a high volume of cars and will not be working direction of traffic at Clemson or South Carolina. Meanwhile, in Columbia, the Gamecocks may change Saturday night's game with Georgia Tech to Sunday afternoon for obvious reasons. Athletic Director King Dixon says that decision will be made on Friday. Quickly to afternoon baseball, where the Chicago Cubs are clinging out of that 3-game lead over the Cardinals, hosting the Phillies in old Wrigley Field. And this just about says it all. 2 on for Chicago. Andre Dawson does the damage, goes deep to left. It is gone. Chicago over Philadelphia at 9-1. They hold on to a 3-game lead in the National League East, and that is sports.
All right. Thanks, Todd.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. Our team coverage of Hurricane Hugo has started early this morning and is continuing now. Let's switch down to the beach, where the crew has been going pretty strong all day. Sue, are you there?
Yes, I am, Bob. And what you are looking at is the 3rd Avenue Pier, and that's the pier which partially collapsed during the winter storm of 1987. Now, of course, it remains to be seen whether it will hold and what other structures will or will not hold during this mess. It doesn't look quite so severe on camera. I'm looking over at the monitor right now as it is. The rain is coming down like little bits of glass. The wind is so strong. The waves are just crashing. You really have to be here to hear the wind and see these monumental waves. It's unbelievable. I can't begin to explain it, and it's really quite frightening, Bob and Lily.
I can understand that, and I can also understand the fact that that's going to get even worse.
Yes, that's probably the most frightening thought, is that this is just the beginning. This is just the onslaught of Hugo, and there's just no telling what destruction it's going to leave.
And Sue, everybody has been asked to pull out down there.
That's right. We're one of the few remaining people down on the Grand Strand. If you are anywhere east of the waterway, the governor has mandated that you must evacuate. We have told you where the shelters are.
Okay, Sue.
All right, thank you very much. Tom Sorrells?
Gives entire new meaning to the term surf's up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just giant waves beginning to crash in on Myrtle Beach. That will continue to worsen as time wears on. Again, the storm is right now about 170 miles out across the open waters, bearing down in a direct line on top of Myrtle Beach. We're looking for it to arrive in about 5.5 or 6 hours.
Okay, and I think we might remind the people that tornadoes are a possibility.
A very real possibility, especially across the inland areas. Once this storm arrives, don't think that it's over. Once it arrives at midnight, it will continue to churn through our area tonight. Tornadoes are a very real possibility. A tornado watch in effect for the entire viewing area, not only the coast.
Okay, and we, of course, will have strong winds and rain throughout the rest of the time. If you're going to shelters, make sure you take the proper things with you, like clothing and some blankets and bedding and your medication if you need that. Of course, the entire world is watching what's going to happen. Let's join ABC World News tonight.
Hundreds of thousands of people fleeing the Carolina coast. Hugo is now officially a Category 4 hurricane, an extremely dangerous storm.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin tonight along the Carolina coast. The waiting is all but over. Hurricane Hugo is about to come ashore. The National Hurricane Center has been getting more precise by the hour.